So welcome everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all. Thank you for joining us today. I am Lavinia Rocchi. I am the WUCWO Secretary General, and I will be moderating today's conversation with um, our two English-speaking ambassadors. So a warm welcome to all of you. Before introducing to you our two honorary ambassadors of today, Sylvia and Aria, I would like to give you a quick overview of how the Invisible No More campaign started. We initially launched the campaign in Africa in 2022, and we made that year also a documentary called Invisibles in Togo. And our focus was to highlight what many religious women were doing through their work to help and empower women who seem invisible. And then last March 8th, we decided to relaunch the campaign globally in order to have more impact and reach. That is why we are also holding these live conversations with ambassadors to kind of continue spreading the word and inspiring new potential ambassadors while building loyalty among the current ones. So really anyone interested in joining this international campaign can become an ambassador, regardless of their country, their age, their background. And as an ambassador, you can participate in awareness raising activities. You can maybe organize events in your community, share information on social media with the hashtag Invisibles No More. And really any other action that will help to make the campaign more visible and the most vulnerable women visible. So before moving on to the kind of the conversations today, I wanted to take a few minutes to kind of really recap on what we've achieved together through the World Women's Observatory that was created back in 2021 by the World Union of Catholic Women's Organizations. So specifically in Africa, we can proudly say we have listened to the voices of more than 10,000 women who have survived violence, with 81% experiencing domestic gender-based abuse. And we have built in Africa a strong network of over 100 religious and lay organizations across 22 African countries. And they are working together to share best practices and implement effective strategies to mitigate this violence. And we are supported in Africa by 25 dedicated community managers who bring really visibility to the powerful stories of resilient women they assist daily. And they are very inspiring and strengthening our growing network. And Sylvia and Aria are representing this also today. The observatory in Mexico has engaged with 234 migrant women. We have listened to their experiences to better kind of understand their access to justice and the violations of their rights. And the observatory is now also part of a growing network of more than 25 organizations across northern, central, and southern Mexico, working together to improve justice access for migrant women. And last March, we gave voice to these women during the UN 69th Commission on the Status of Women in New York. So that was a great milestone for the project. And globally, the observatory has really listened to 459 women that have been involved in the synodal process at diocesan, national, and continental levels to assess whether their voices were heard and valued. And in 2024, WUCWO also decided to start off a school of synodality. And so far, we have formed over 1,200 people from more than 80 countries in this synodal journey. So we have organized many global conversations in the spirit, which focused on women's participation in a synodal church, on the model of encounter, on active listening, and collaborative discernment. And more than 700 women from 80 countries engage in these discussions, feeling truly heard and embraced. It's an integral part of the church. So that was kind of a recap of what we've managed to really briefly what we've managed to do so far. And without taking more time to our wonderful ambassadors, let me now move on and introduce them to you, as they are very deeply committed to invisible women. So please join me in giving a warm welcome to Dr. Sylvia Ruambo. So Sylvia is a passionate and dedicated advocate for human rights in Tanzania. Her life's work rotates around protecting children, empowering women, and ensuring inclusivity for people with disabilities. She's the founder and executive director of Support for Future Foundation, and she has created this space where vulnerable children receive therapeutic support, assistive devices, and essential rights education. So her Tech to Protect approach is particularly powerful because it not only teaches children about their rights, but also equips mothers with entrepreneurship skills, fostering economic independence and helping them reduce gender-based violence. So beyond this, Sylvia is a certified digital security trainer, guiding communities in safe online practices to combat digital abuse. And she is also one of our ambassadors of the Invisibles and one of our community managers that I was mentioning earlier. So Sylvia, thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. And now I will briefly introduce and give a warm welcome to Aria Pongpit, a very brave and passionate advocate for youth empowerment and human trafficking prevention in Thailand. So she's the first generation Talita Kum youth ambassador, and she's also secretary of the Catholic Women's Department in Udon Thani Diocese in Thailand. So Aria has dedicated the past 3 years to creating change in her community. So her mission is also deeply personal, having almost fallen victim of human trafficking as a child. So she carries this painful experience, and she was unable to save her best friend. But rather than letting tragedy define her, she transformed it into a powerful force for good. So really determined to protect young people in Thailand. She educates them on how to safeguard themselves from trafficking, promoting dignity. So she has a firm commitment, and this was recognized in 2022 when she received the Outstanding Youth Award from the Prime Minister of Thailand for her work in the prevention and suppression of human trafficking. So, Aria, thank you for being here with us today.
Yeah, thank you.
From all. So now, really, let us give space to these two inspiring women. We have a few questions to ask them. So let's start with the first one. I ask both of you, why have you decided to become an ambassador for Invisible Women? So Sylvia, you go first.
Thank you so much. My name is Sylvia, as I've been introduced. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, because I know we define time. I'm from Tanzania. The reason why I decided to become an ambassador is because of the work. As you have introduced me, I work with children with disabilities. But then to make sure that my work and support to them becomes sustainable, I decided to work with their families. And so I tried to visit their mothers, their families, and only to realize that majority of these children with disabilities are raised with only their mothers, and they've been abandoned by their fathers. So I started to listen the story, why majority of these children with disabilities or women raising children with disabilities abandoned with their father, with their husbands. Then I realized that the social stigma and those cultural myths, taboos surrounding children with disabilities. So I decided to listen to stories of these women who have been abandoned, who have been socially stigmatized, and listening to their stories. When you lend someone your ear, your heart, they have a space to to vent themselves, at least you it's kind of easing the burden. So after listening, I realized that something must be done. So in 2023, WWO organized their meeting here in Dar es Salaam, and I was among those who were invited. And listening to the stories of Invisible No More, I realized that the mission of WWO aligns with mine, listening to transform lives, making sure the voice of those who are not heard is heard, and making sure that women who have been facing GBV discrimination heard and seen and supported. So the mission alignment made me become the ambassador for the WWO. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia, for kind of telling us a story on how you decided to become an ambassador. Thank you for sharing that. And Aria, what about you?
Yeah.
Why have you decided to become an ambassador of Invisible Women?
Okay, thank you for the question. To be honest, my name is Ariya Pungpit. I come from Thailand, and now I am Thalitakum Youth Ambassador. My story starts in very ordinary but colorful place. I say the market. I grew up there because my parents sold things about pork and beef fry at the market every day. Many of my close friends came from the similar families, selling food and small goods. But as we grew up, life took us on very different paths. Some of my friends came from struggling families. Their parents had to move the city for work, and they were raised by grandparents. It's very normal because of we find many of money, but don't have everyone everyone want to be rich, right? They didn't really get attention and protection enough about baby or about the teenager like us. So sadly, many of them were taken advantage of, falling into human trafficking or prostitution without even realizing it. I was lucky to grow up with love and care from my parents, my family. But even though I saw what happening to my friends, I was too young to help. That helplessness stayed with me for a long time. So when I grew up, I promised myself if I ever had the chance to be the part of change, no matter how small, I will take it. And when I saw the call for the Thalitakum Youth Ambassador, I am the generation, the first generation, because I said yes, this is the way of the giving back and protecting those who still don't have a voice. Yeah, I just want to protect whoever know me or whoever want the knowledge, the correct knowledge. Thank you.
You, Aria, for sharing that very personal story, right? How you felt growing up and how you decided to make that commitment since you are young to help others.
Yes.
Thank you. So now, Sylvia, you mentioned that you work with children, you work with mothers. Can you tell us a bit more on who are these women that you make visible in your daily life, in your everyday life?
Okay, thank you. Through my work, I realized that there exist groups, as I've said earlier, that are especially marginalized, vulnerable, yet invisible. And I strive to make visible these women who live in the margins of society, those who are often overlooked even in spaces that meant for their empowerment. And as I said earlier, I work with children with disabilities, and therefore mothers raising children with disabilities are the ones that they were the first that I was into contact with them. These are the women raising children with disabilities, navigating stigma and economic hardship alone. Societal stigma makes them being socially stigmatized. And also, as I said earlier, abandoned by their husbands. So they are suffering alone with their children. These are the women that I strive in my daily life to make sure that I make them visible. There are also young girls in conflict with the law, labeled and forgotten before they are even heard. These are women who are incarcerated. Visiting women in prison, I realized that there are a lot of unjust lawful women that have been in prison even without committing anything. And how I decided to work with women in prison, there was a day that I visited a certain family where I was told that there is a child who is suffering from violence. When I visited that family, I realized that that child is being raised by a stepmother. And I asked, where is the mother of that baby? They told me that her mother is in prison, and she had a conflict with that with that stepmother of the child. That man had two wives, and with those two wives, the very first wife had a conflict with the second wife. And then the second wife, because she has the people she knew, so she decided to send that woman in prison unlawfully, unjustly. And you can imagine that woman in prison, and that her baby is left with the stepmother who took her mother in prison. So that child was facing a lot of violences. And realizing that there are children whose mother are in prison, I decided also to go to prison to listen to the stories of women in prison. That is why I found a lot of stories, and even some of them who have been freed from the prison, they even fear to go back to the community because also they face a social stigma compared to their to their male counter. Because women in prison, to us as the society, we see that it is not okay. But when a man comes from prison, we see it is okay. So they also face stigma, and their children are also facing a lot of challenges in the community. So these are the group that I also decided to look at, to work with, because they are also forgotten. There are also women with mental health conditions who are misunderstood and often dismissed. Women raising children with disabilities, women who have been facing incarcerated and now they are back to the community, they are stigmatized. Majority of them also suffer from mental health. And that is why I decided also to look at this group of women and girls suffering from mental health, because majority of the challenges they are facing is because of either having children with disabilities or being incarcerated. So I also decided to work with a group of girls and women suffering from mental health challenges. Also, within, there are widows, single mothers, and women trapped in the cycles of gender-based violence. A lot of them out there. But these three groups are the ones that I work with them daily, because they are really marginalized and socially stigmatized.
Thank you,
inspire
Sylvia.
me every day. They inspire me every day with their strength and untold stories. My role
I
is
can
not
imagine.
Yes, my role is not just to speak for them, but to create spaces where they can speak for themselves, to be seen in their full humanity, and to receive the respect, care, opportunities they deserve. Visibility is the very first step toward justice, toward combating GBV. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia, for your big commitment to all of these difficult situations, right? That women are, for different reasons, they find themselves in these very, very difficult situations. And visiting a woman who is in jail, this could be anywhere in the world, right? So there are women who are suffering, who are struggling, and just having someone that listens to them and that they can speak out, I'm sure means so much to them. So thank you. And now, Maria, I wanted to ask you, who are the women you make visible in your reality as ambassador of Talita Kum, but also as ambassador of the Invisibles of the World Women's Observatory? Um, so who are these women you help in your everyday life?
Yeah, I focus on two main groups of young girls and some of boy and the women. The first group is girl age 9 to 15. They are still full of joy and curiosity. They love learning through play and fun activities. And the second group is young women aged 16 to 25. They're growing up, forming opinions, asking questions, and discovering their identity. And for Talita Kum big event, we will pray together with young people from all over the world. We work with variety of organizations, including WUCWO. For the past 3 years, the youth delegates has been organizing activities in Rome, such as playing together, writing the post-it notes, and dancing the symbolize our unity and the symbolize our unity as a youth. I speak to the group a bit differently because their heart listen in the different ways.
It's great how you can speak as a young woman to other youth members of your community and support um, having the same, more or less the same age. That's very inspiring. Thank you for sharing that. Now, I wanted to ask you a bit on what kind of activities, um, uh, if you can describe in a bit more detail, the activities you are doing for these women that are mostly marginalized, that are suffering stigma, that are discriminated, or that are invisible for so many. Sylvia.
Thank you. As I said earlier, we offer them ears and our hearts. We show them our commitment to listen to them. And the very first activity in all three groups of women, first of all, to make them know that they are loved. They've been created with the image of God, and there is nothing that can make them different from others. So I make them have a self-awareness of who they are and that they are not alone. Majority of women out there are also facing GBV, but we need to come out together and speak for each other. So first of all, it is all about raising awareness about GBV, making them like self-acceptance. And then we normally start doing small activities. Depends on the group. For example, for women raising children with disabilities, we need to have activities that they can do in areas where they can also take care of their children. So we normally do the financial literacy training, knowing how to save money, and then starting small activities, sewing, making liquid soaps, cooking, baking small items like buns, breads, and they sell. And for incarcerated women, those who are in prison, we don't wait for them to come out. In prison, we have a project for these women with children with disabilities. The project is called Rise and Raise. We want them to rise economically and raise their families, to rise and raise their voices for other women. So that is the essence of Rise and Raise. And for those who are incarcerated, we have the project that is called Set Me Free, in the sense that if they are economically independent, if they know, if they have that self-acceptance spirit, and knowing that they human being like others. Then while they are in prison, they learn how to do the baking and the tailoring. These are the two projects that I support, apart from other activities that they work in jail, like gardening. So those who come out, we make sure that we make a follow-up, and the skills that they have gained, what do they want to do? So they choose what they want to do, and we start finding small capitals for them to do something for themselves and their family so that they are free economically. And we also have the project for those who are suffering from mental health challenges. This project is called Binti Dar es Salaam, literally known as the daughter of Dar es Salaam. It's because there were a lot of them around the street. So we are in contract with the National Hospital, and they have given us a center where they are taken there, and the clinical psychologist, physiotherapist, occupational therapist, and the artisan is there to take care of them. They remain there. They do the gardening, poultry, soap making, tailoring, weaving, those small activities. And then when they are mentally fit, they go back to the community having their skills. Some would resume the activities that have been doing before, but majority of these women, they start doing the activities that we have trained them in their groups, be it in Rise and Raise, Set Me Free, or Binti Dar es Salaam. So in the end, we are happy that everyone is reached, those that we target, and everyone is supported. They meet once a week. They talk about their challenges they're facing, and those who are free from GBV are now the ambassadors who are also supporting others. They become the voices of others. So apart from the support we provide, they are also taught, and they have now learned how to support each other, where to report violences, where are the safe spaces they can air their views, where are the safe spaces where those suffering from GBV can be taken, and they're like, yes.
These are all, you gave us really a lot of examples, right, on how we can maybe choose one small activity, one small thing to organize within your community with the women that are most needed. So it's inspiring because it's like a chain. You can chain, so they can become then afterwards supporters of other women and ambassadors of other invisible women. So it's wonderful. And Maria, what about you? What can you maybe describe one concrete activity you're doing with these youth, these young generations you're working with?
Yeah, I have two ways, the different ways to younger and teenager. So for the younger girls, I create safe and fun space where they can explore their self-worth and learn about their rights. Uh, we do things like storytelling, drama, or singing, drawing, anything that help them understand about the serious topic like abuse or trafficking in the way that aren't scary or boring. I often visit schools, most of them supported by Kai sisters from Catholic Church. Uh, I have connected with over time. And for the older group, 16 to 25, I try to be like a big sister, just like someone they can talk and trust. We talk about the self-love, confidence, and respect. We also use social media as a tool. I share ideas and reminders online to keep conversation going in daily life. Now we have social media just like Instagram and about the TikTok I just start in Thailand. But about my Thalithakum youth ambassador around the world, such as Japan or in Vietnam, we have YouTube. We have YouTube to have the tool to understand, to talk about what is the human trafficking in the correct knowledge. So some of these young women even become ambassador themselves. Join me in the volunteer in the next project. It's very beautiful moment to see how one voice becomes so many. Thank you.
Thank you, Arya. I think, you know, as a young representative, as a young ambassador, you could not mention, you had to mention, no? Technology and social media and the social platforms that can help you reach and raise awareness, even not only in your country and in your local community, but you mentioned Japan, you mentioned other countries, and how you can even communicate and raise awareness and kind of form other youth of other countries. So thank you. Now I wanted to ask you how you personally feel transformed by your by your daily work, your daily assistance to this women. Can you tell us a bit on about your feelings? Your Sylvia, what would you say?
Thank you. At first, working with children was like a good thing for me, and that was my passion, and it still is. And I found myself like a very empathetic person at first with children. And I found that working with them is all that I can do. And that was enough. I've done more than enough. I've done a big part in supporting these children in the community. So to me, I was like, this is more than enough. But when it comes to working with their mothers, when I started to listen to their mothers, when I became the ambassador, my friend, I became, the experience has deepened my empathy. I became more and more empathetic. But again, my strength, has strengthened my commitment to social justice. It has challenged me to amplify the voices of the marginalized more boldly than before. Whatever I see that is not right, I find myself, I don't want to shut down my mouth. I would like to speak and to act, be it in street to a person that I know or I don't know. I just want justice and peace to prevail. And this reminds me that even small acts of support can cause ripples of transformation in families and communities. Personally, I've grown more resilient and more connected to a global sisterhood of advocates working towards the same cause, including the WWO ambassadors and the people around the world who are also fighting for the justice, fighting for human rights, fighting for social justice, and the like. I become more and more bold in becoming the voice of the voiceless, making sure that everyone has the space, the right to be seen, the right to be heard, the right to be supported, and to be connected. Violence is not acceptable. Discrimination is not acceptable. We all need to speak in one voice. As God is one, working in Father, God Father, God Son, and the Holy Spirit, we should all be one, working in our different capacities to make sure that the world that is trusted to us is a safe place for everyone. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sylvia. That's very inspiring, and thank you for your determination and your strength in working daily for all these women and for sharing this very brave feelings. What about you, Aria? How do you feel transformed um, in your daily life when helping and when assisting these young women?
Yeah. I just want to say it made me realize how much joy comes from giving. I'm 27 years now, still building my own life, my own small business, which grew from my parents' little market shop. But I always make time to volunteer and give back to the social. I trustly believe in the butterfly effect. Even a small action can ripple out, and lead to something much bigger. You don't need to be rich or perfect to make a difference. You just need to start with what you have today. I often say it's like planting a tree. Maybe it won't give shade right away, but in 10 or 20 years, that tree will grow and someone somewhere will sit under the shade. Yeah, I trust on this.
Great. That's very true and very inspiring. How many of us, right, do maybe our work, some efforts, and we maybe and we'll see the results in a few years' times, no? So that's thank you. Thank you. That's beautiful. And then I would like just to maybe move to the last question for you, and I invite any of the participants if they want to maybe write any questions to our two ambassadors on the chat. We might have a few minutes at the end to share those comments or questions. We'll see. But for as a last question, I wanted to ask you to share a message to the participants, to anyone who's listening to us today. Which is your message of encouragement to them to make them become ambassadors? Sylvia.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to urge everyone to tell everyone that you don't need to be rich, as Aria said. You don't need to have big muscles. You don't have to be too clever. You don't have to be too perfect. You don't have to have all the resources. I encourage anyone with a heart for justice to become an ambassador. Becoming an ambassador needs a heart that listens. Listen so that you can transform lives. Just the courage to listen, to act, and to stand in solidarity with women whose voices have been silenced. When we choose to see the invisible and uplift the forgotten, we help build a world where dignity is not a privilege, but a right for all. So I encourage everyone, men and women, to be ambassador of the invisible no more. Because whatever it takes, whatever you need to do is to listen, lend your hand. As I'm so much inspired by Mother Teresa of Calcutta. She says, we cannot all do great things, but we can do very, very small things with greater love. Show that you care. Listen to transform lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Sylvia, for that very clear message and invitation. Maria, over to you. What message do you want to share with us today to encourage everyone to be an ambassador?
Now I saw in the list, I see my friend from many countries. He is the youth ambassador too. Yeah, I just want to say the power to change the world is already inside us. Don't wait for luck, be the luck in someone else's life. The fact that we are meeting here today is not an accident. It's the moment that might lead to something beautiful. I believe in you all. Let's create change together. One heart, one small act, one step at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Beautiful message. I thank you so much, both of you, for this very inspiring conversation. I now want to give the floor to Monica, our president, WUCWO's president general. And while we listen to her final remarks, I want to ask those of you that want to share, maybe on the chat, you know, a word or two words that resonate to you after hearing these two very inspiring women. You may share that on the chat. And now over to Monica for the closing words. Thank you. Monica, can you hear
Yeah,
me?
yeah. I can hear you, but I cannot put my video. It says the Patricio is not allowing me to put my video on. Do you listen to me, Pato? Something I
Okay, let's
okay, let's
try
see.
to solve that.
Okay,
Oh, here you are.
I did it.
Oh.
Yeah, I've been here all the time. So I just want to tell you all, wow, we've heard so many beautiful things that I don't even want to risk saying anything more, but I just want to repeat some phrases that really left me thinking. Well, first of all, thank you to Sylvia and to Arilla. Thank you for their beautiful testimonies. But especially thank you for all you do for women. I mean, for all the things you are doing and will do for women that are invisible, that are often, uh, seem abandoned and suffering so much. Thank you for all the things you do. As Arija said, something very beautiful. One voice becomes so many voices, and that's why we're here together, because we're here, we want to do it. If we do it alone, it's just a little bit. Each one of us, you've repeated that, Sylvia told us, we don't have, as Sylvia reminded us, we don't have to be very bright, we don't have to have money, we don't have to be to do great things. We just want to want to do the difference. We just need to love, to share, to be sensible to the others, to have solidarity, and even by little acts we can transform big things. So I don't know. Dignity, as Sylvia said, dignity is not a privilege. We cannot stop working until every woman in the world has her dignity respected. And that's why we want to invite all of you to become ambassadors of the Invisibles. It's very easy to become an ambassador, because when we do it together, we're going to be a greater and greater force. So this event is to share stories, to show us that we can do it, even starting with small things, that small dreams can always grow up and we can make a big difference. So I invite you, join us. It's very easy. You just go to our webpage and then you subscribe, and then we will be together. What we want to do is to continue spreading the word, to inspire new potential ambassadors, to be loyalty among ourselves, and then to exchange tools to help each other. From the World Women's Observatory, from WUCWO, we will try to give you some tools and things to do to help us in this great job that we're doing, and to inspire us. So this one voice wants to become a very many voices, and the butterfly effect that Aliyah told us about, I think it's working, and it works, of course. And so thank you all for having joined us. And do not forget what Sylvia told us, a heart that listens. We have to have a heart that listens, acts, and stands in solidarity. We don't need anything more. So thank you. God bless you all. Here we are to help you. Here we are to work together with you and help us with this great mission that we've started some years ago, but now we want to reinforce it, and we'll go on. And I'm sure very soon we will be thousands and thousands of ambassadors of the Invisibles, until there are more ambassadors than Invisibles. And that's where we want to get at. Okay, thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you, Monica. Thank you so much for encouraging us and for reminding us about our mission. Thank you all for participating, especially to Sylvia and Aria for their time and their bravery and their inspiration. I will just close up by maybe just reading out some of the beautiful words that are coming up on the chat. So we have encouragement, passionate and full of joy when they give to others. They're giving, God bless your good services. And there's comments all around, so inspiring, Thank you. All of them want to thank you so much for sharing today. Great job. You have the links on the chat on how to become an ambassador. So please go ahead and commit to this service. And we also shared the link to the Invisibles documentary that you can use. It's a tool for you to use in your communities. So thank you once again, everyone, for your time. To Sylvia and Aria for being with us. We'll be in touch. Thank you again for your time. Best of luck for your small business, Aria, and really thank you for all you do, Sylvia. Take care and speak soon.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Bye-bye. And thank you for everyone. Welcome and become ambassadors.